Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as breaking news. We just had the first Bitcoin summit between Bitcoin presidents Bukele and Trump. Max Kaiser's calling for 220,000 in play. Also breaking news, Japanese public company Meta Planet buys 319 Bitcoin for $26.3 million. Also, Michael Saylor's strategy buys 285 million worth of Bitcoin. I projected this to happen as he did post the Saylor tracker just yesterday, so we were expecting something big coming from the Giga Chad. We'll also be discussing crypto investment products nearly wiped 2025 gains out as outflows hit $7.2 billion. Also, Mantra token price collapses by over 90%. Within 24 hours, a billion shed right from the market cap. It was rugged by the devs, it seemed. We'll also be discussing crypto lending down 43% from the 2021 highs as DeFi borrowing surges 959%. Also, the former CEO of Binance, the largest crypto exchange CZ, says Bitcoin is definitely going to reach $1 million per coin. And he also says countries will race to buy Bitcoin as much as possible as the hash wars continue. He also says we're just at the beginning. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, ring that pretty little bell, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod number 1963. I'm your host, JV. It is April 14th, 2025. Happy 420 in advance for the broskies, of course. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. As you can see, pretty little bitty in the green, about to recapture 85,000, up roughly 1% on the day. Ether's been pumping a well. We were down to 1,400 a few days back, and today we're back above 1,600. We have XRP in the green, BNB in the green, Solana in the green. Let's go green team. Where you at? And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. As you can see on your screen, we have a market cap currently, total collective 2.68 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap 1.6 trillion, close to 1.7. We have roughly 92 billion worth of volume over the past 24 hours. And the Bitcoin dominance is at 62.8%, up 0.1% on the day. Ether dominance stagnated at 7.3%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. Believe it or not, Mantra's up 10% today after losing 90% within a matter of hours. After that, coin was rugged, unfortunately, and we'll dive into that a little later. Fart coin up 8%, and Radium up 6%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at you, motherfucking boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day. For the daily, safe to say, man, it's a mixed bag, to be quite honest. I might dare say 50-50, green and red. Trump coin down 5% on the day. Fart coin up 9%. Can't win them all. And checking out for the weekly, safe to say here, 90-10, green over red, which is a good sign. And for the monthly, get a broader perspective past 30 days. Unfortunately, about 80-20, blood red over green. It is what it is. And checking out the crypto greed inverter index. Today we're 31, fear. Yesterday, 45. Last week of 23, Jordan's infamous numbers. And last month of 46 in fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We are on block height number 892,396. We have 157,604 blocks until the next halving in 2028. But who's accounting? And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,179 of the sats, pretty little sats. Stack them, pretty little sats. Put down those bad gats and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at BitcoinCaps.net. And if you don't know now, you know. Welcome everyone to a live stream. What a motherfucking do. But anyways, let's dive into today's TA astrology for the broskies, of course. Headline here reads, Bitcoin price tags 86 as Trump tariff relief boost the breakout odds. Also, we'll pull up some live charts and also here's some breaking information. Of course, earlier today at around 12, the first Bitcoin summit with President Bukele and Trump, and 220,000 in play. Max Kaiser's calling. And also, Japanese public company Meta Planet buys 319 Bitcoin for 26.3 million. Of course, the Giga Chad and Strategy B just made an acquisition we'll cover in our next story. And you can see here Trump and Bukele about to do a handshake in this video. Pretty cool. I love seeing the Bitcoin presidents together, which reminds me of Chandy's Bitcoin presidents song, which is all about the Bukele and Trump working together, which is pretty cool. So yeah, cool little clip right there. And let's see what other Bitcoin protects you with guaranteed profits from tariff tantrums, monetary blunders, fiscal irresponsibility, market meltdowns, bond fiascos, currency devaluations, coups, tsunamis, meteor strikes, and most important of all, Bitcoin protects you from Taylor Swift. And if that's not all the reason you need to stack the biddy, there's no convincing you. But yeah, here's another clip. You can see all the media in the house of the White House with President Nayib Bukele, first Bitcoin president, meeting next Bitcoin president, Trump. And again, we'll touch upon all this here a little later in the stream, but just wanted to touch upon that breaking news. But let's continue with RTA. As you can see on the 1 hour chart, Bitcoin hit an 11-day high. And that's my favorite number. I'm high just repeating the number 11. On April 13th, as the crypto market relief rally closely track U.S. financial policy changes. That's right. Trading views showed Bitcoin reaching 86 for the first time since April 2nd. Bitcoin and U.S. dollar pair reacted well to the news of Trump and Bukele, as well as Trump excluding certain key products from its ongoing trade tariffs against China. Traditional markets are closing on the weekends, but creating the lower liquidity trading for the crypto market, raising the chance for the price volatility. And Bitcoin's been holding above 84, which is a good sign. I think we're about to experience our next leg up. Hours to go into the weekly close. Roman wrote here, call me crazy, but I don't think I trust this breakout on the biddy. Low volume, overbought, stochastic on the weekend. If we remain over 84 through Monday, in which we did, I'll look for the higher, but now it seems sketchy. So at that time, before we got the weekly close yesterday, he was a little sketched out, a little sus, which is perfectly normal. But guess what? We've been maintaining above 84, so that's definitely a good sign. Quoting Dan Crypto Trades, this is, however, still a weekend move so far, so we know next week will be volatile again with news regarding tariffs and the first big tech earnings coming up right around the corner. And then we have another trader by the name of Peter Cottontail described the rebound from the lows as looking more corrective than it does impulsive. And then meanwhile, another analyst by the name of Rec Capital, Bitcoin has daily closed above the downtrend. Thus, the breakout confirmation is underway. However, Bitcoin has previously daily closed above the downtrend but failed the retest. Retest needs to be successful, and it is in progress. And it shows you those examples via the red circles right here. But there you have it, Biddy fam. And I promised to pull up some of the live charts. Let's do that really quick as I sip on some more espresso. Caffeinated JV in the building. Welcome everyone to the stream. Close to 1,000 people already here. Make some motherfucking noise. For Nipinator, of course.
I've always been a rapper, honky cracker, but now I'm a pastor, Bitcoin stacker. Now I'm a master of the Bitcoin standard. Hit 'em up faster than the Bitcoin panda. You can't touch me with your shitcoin flow. Like, do you even Bitcoin, bruh? Let me know. Welcome to the Bitcoin show. Now listen up closely, low-key, stacking BTC
like Satoshi. That's right. Okay, so here we're looking at the 10-minute chart. We do have a bull target in the blue, and we're just going to go through this really fast. 91.4, so I love live charts compared to previously analyzed, TA. So anyways, because this is the latest information, obviously, as we're live. This is the 1 hour chart. We do have some ascension momentum building. We do have a target above the top two sitting at 88,000. And then we have a bear scenario sitting just shy of 80 G's, baby. And zooming out from the 1 hour, taking a look at the 4 hour chart, you can see there's a rising wedgie, my favorite of all the wedgies. And just bear scenarios outlined there, unfortunately. But zooming out a little further, and the more we zoom out, the more realistic perspective we get, just FYI. A rising wedge followed by a falling wedge, bull scenario in the red, sitting at 111, practically just shy of 112. Bear scenario in the pink is sitting at just shy of 69 G's, baby. And zooming out from the daily, taking a look at a weekly, and again, we got a nice weekly close, finally, I believe, in the green. That's right. You can see that green candle close as of yesterday, which is a good sign. Hopefully that bullish momentum continues. We still have the cup and handle target on the screen, at least on the weekly chart. And I personally feel that will be the next leg up, somewhere between 120 to 130, once we can recapture price discovery, currently at 109.3. And zooming out a little further, we look at the monthly. We're almost halfway through the month. So far, forming a green candle, which is nice considering past couple of months we closed in the red, but time will tell. Let me know if you feel or leaning more bullish bullish or bearish moving forward for the rest of April? Holla at your boy, and I'll read your comments out loud. Shout out Nibinator. Nibinator indicator incoming. Next headline here, a big buy from the Giga Chad, more than a $500 million buy. Unfortunately, it's not as big as his last purchase last week, but still significant nonetheless. Saylor buys 285 million of Bitcoin amid the market uncertainty. And we knew this was coming because he posted the Saylor tracker, as we discussed yesterday. Saylor's digital asset firm strategy purchased 3,459 biddies for 285 million, signaling continued confidence in Bitcoin even as the global market faces trade-related headwinds. Strategy acquired the 3,459 Bitcoin for 285 million at an average price of 82,000, as Saylor announces here. The purchase brings Strategy's total Bitcoin holdings to 531,644 BTC, acquired for a cumulative just shy of 36 billion at an average price of 67,500 per coin. Not a bad spot to dollar cost average, achieving an over 11.4% yield since the beginning of 2025. Here's the official announcement from Michael Saylor, which he shared on X. And the 285 million purchase marks Strategy's first Bitcoin investment since March 31st, when the company acquired 1.9 billion. That's right. Their previous purchase was 1.9 billion. And according to data from the Saylor tracker, the firm is currently sitting on more than 9 billion in unrealized profit, representing a 25% gain on its total Bitcoin position as of earlier today. Strategy's continued accumulation comes despite the broader market pullback and declining appetite for the risk assets. The downturn has been largely attributed to the global trade policy uncertainty after Trump announced a new round of the tariffs. Trump announced a 90-day pause on the higher reciprocal tariffs on April 9th, reverting the tariffs to the 10% baseline for the most countries except for China, which currently faces a 145% import tariff. Now, despite continued uncertainty in the outcome of the trade negotiations, Bitcoin staged a 10% recovery for the past 7 days, reclaiming 85 G's, baby. Quoting an analyst here, crypto markets open a week with cautious strength, continuing the broad recovery from last Monday's tariff-induced sell-off. Bitcoin trades above 84,000, marking a robust rebound despite the global macro background, while investors' focus remains fixed on the U.S.-China trade dynamics. Crypto's relative stability continues to stand out. And there you have it, Bitcoin ETPs unfortunately wiped out all the previous year gains. Check this out. Crypto investment products nearly wiped 2025 gains as outflows hit a whopping $7.2 billion. That's right. Digital asset ETPs, exchange traded products, saw almost 800 million of outflows just last week, marking their third consecutive week. On April 14th, CoinShares reported crypto ETPs saw 800 million in outflows last week, with Bitcoin-based products accounting for 751 million, while Ether products follow with 37.6 million. While the major tokens saw increased outflows, some of the alts went against the flow, seeing small gains, including XRP, Ondo Finance, Algorand, and Avalanche. And according to CoinShares, the total outflows of the crypto ETPs since February have reached 7.2 billion, nearly wiping out the year-to-date inflows from the investment products. CoinShares head of research James Butterfield attributed the outflows to the recent tariff-related activities initiated by the U.S. POTUS, Mr. Trumpster. On April 2nd, Mr. Trumpster signed an executive order imposing a 10% baseline tariff on all imports from all the countries. The president also set reciprocal tariffs for countries that charge tariffs on U.S. imports. The Trump admin then continued flip-flopping over the tariff policy, bringing market uncertainty, all by strategic design, might I add. Butterfield wrote that a wave of negative sentiment that started in February resulted in a record outflow of 7.2 billion. The outflows have nearly wiped out the year-to-date inflows, now amounting to 165 million. In addition to the Bitcoin and Ether-based products, altcoins like Solana, Aave, and Sui also collectively saw outflows of over 6 million last week. While the Bitcoin-related products have also seen huge outflows, its year-to-date gains still stand at 545 million. Furthermore, short Bitcoin products also saw outflows totaling 4.6 million. And now speaking about BlackRock, which is the world's largest Bitcoin ETF, IBIT, had the most outflows amongst ETP providers. CoinShares data shows BlackRock's ETF saw 342 million in outflows. So thank you, Larry Fink, for dumping on the market. But then again, demand. It's customers selling their Bitcoin, and they're just following along, I would assume, putting its total month-to-date outflows at 412 million. Yeah, and ultimately, the bigger picture is here. Uncertainty in the market is not good for things that are considered risk-on assets like Bitcoin. So even though BlackRock had massive outflows for the month, the ETF issuer is still about 2.8 billion worth of year-to-date inflows. So they're still in the green, almost 3 billion for the past year. The asset manager also holds, let's not forget, close to 50 billion worth in assets under management. That's 50 billion worth of Bitcoin, and collectively total addressable, their total, assets under management exceed 11 trillion, making them the largest asset manager in the world. Next story of the day, we're going to discuss the Mantra rug pull, then DeFi lending, which has been exploding almost 1,000%. And then we'll discuss $1 million price prediction, which comes from Binance founder CZ, who I believe is the richest man in crypto, unless the Giga Chad stole his pole position. But keep in mind, MicroStrategy has a board, and so for example, the primary shareholder of MicroStrategy, or now known as Strategy B, is Vanguard and BlackRock. So MicroStrategy wealth is not equate to Michael Saylor wealth. So just something I wanted to point out there. But anyways, we all know Michael Saylor is a rich man nonetheless, obviously a billionaire. But I would say CZ is probably worth more based upon some of the info I got. But anyways, Mantra token price collapsed by over 90% within 24 hours. It staged a moderate recovery, but still most of the market cap is gone, probably never going to come back, as a lot of people have obviously lost confidence in this. Let me know if any of you have been impacted from this particular coin. The price of Mantra token, the native crypto, the Mantra real world token asset, blockchain. This is supposed to have been like a real world use case. Everyone would always preach this is a real world asset, yada, 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 and it still collapsed over 90% within 24 hours because you put trust in people, and that's the flaw. That's the problem. April 13th, Mantra fell from a price of approximately 6.3, which $6.30, to below 50 cents, shedding over 90% of its value on its 6 billion market cap. So imagine that. Literally 90% of those billions wiped out in a matter of hours. Some traders characterize the token collapse as an apparent rug pull. That's my 2 Satoshis as well. Market investor Gordon wrote the team needs to address this or the OM looks like it could head to zero. The biggest rug pull since Luna FTX. Sound familiar? However, the exact reason for the collapse of the ALM token price is not clear at the current time. Cointelegraph reached out to the Mantra team for comment on the ALM token collapse, but did not receive an answer. However, the incident follows several high-profile token collapses and cybersecurity incidents, including the Libra meme coin implosion and the 1.4 billion Bybit hack, where they stole all the Ethereum. ERC-20s were targeted, responsible for billions of dollars. And then what did the hackers do? They traded their Ethereum for Bitcoin, the hardest asset to ever exist. They didn't want the Ethereum monopoly digital dollars, and investor losses during the first few months of 2025. And as you can see here, here's a screenshot of the big collapse. Unfortunately, it happened so fast, so a lot of people got left holding their bags. Mantra co-founder JP Mullen responded to the ALM token collapse, said the project Telegram's group is still online. Mullen added that the Mantra team's tokens are still in the team's custody, quoting him here. "We are here, we're not going anywhere." Well, you can still not go anywhere, and your project can continue to rug to zero. It doesn't really provide any confidence whatsoever for any of us. But anyways, the Mantra team also claimed that the on-price implosion was triggered by reckless liquidations. Of course, just blame everyone except yourselves and not related to the action. Oh, of course, nothing to do with the devs or the team. It's just due to the reckless liquidations. You damn bastards. Oh no. In January of 2025, Mantra and investment conglomerate Damic signed $1 billion deal to tokenize the investment conglomerate's various assets, which include real estate, data centers, and other physical properties on the Mantra blockchain. Mantra obtained the virtual asset service provider license from Dubai's virtual. So it seemed on the surface as legit as possible. So a lot of people fell victim to this scam. The license allows Mantra to operate as a digital asset service provider in the UAE. running crypto exchanges, broker-dealer services, management, and investment consulting inside the Middle Eastern country. The expansion of the Mantra footprint for the United Arab Emirates was fueled by the high demand for the tokenized products from real estate investors and developers looking for new ways of funding projects and securing capital. Near instant finality times for tokenized real-world assets reduce the cost. I mean, again, the theme is great in theory, and cross-border functionality are just some of the reasons investors cite for using blockchain to secure investments and aid and capital formation. But the issue is, no altcoin can be trusted. If this can happen to Terra Luna, it could happen to Mantra Om, it could happen to any shitcoin. So keep that in mind, my fam. Never put your net worth in a shitcoin. Next story of the day, here's the latest with the DeFi lending, which has been soaring. That's right. It surged 959%, while crypto lending in general is down 43% from the 2021 highs. That's right. How many of you have already participated before in the past or currently in crypto lending of some sort? Do let me know. The crypto lending market size remains significantly down from its $64 billion high, but DeFi borrowing has made up more than 900% recovery from the bear market lows. Crypto lending enables borrowers to use their crypto holdings as collateral to obtain a crypto or fiat loan, while lenders can loan their holdings to generate interest. The crypto lending market is down over 43% from the all-time high of $64.4 billion as of 2021 to $36.5 billion at the end of the fourth quarter of 2024. Quoting Galaxy Digital, the decline can be attributed to the decimation of lenders on the supply side of the funds, individuals and corporate entities on the demand side. And here's the crypto lending key events. Obviously, at one point, BlockFi was a multi-billion-dollar lender, and unfortunately, it went under alongside everything else that was impacted by the FTX collapse. And you can see the tree right here. Also, there was Celsius, there was Voyager, and pretty much all of them, those ones at least, went out. The decline of the crypto lending market started in 2022. Ironic, the same year I got my crypto-backed loan to purchase my house. Lenders Genesis, Celsius, and BlockFi and Voyager filed for bankruptcy within 2 years as the crypto valuations fell. Their collective downfall led to an estimated 78% collapse of the size of the lending market, with centralized finance lending losing 82% of its open borrows, according to the report. With the overall value of the crypto lending market has yet to reach the previous high, DeFi lending has made a significant recovery, according to some metrics. And which do you trust more, DeFi lending or centralized lending, if you were to do crypto-backed loan? Let me know. Like, for example, using your Bitcoin as collateral to borrow some cash to do something. The crypto lending market found its bottom of $1.8 billion in open borrows during the bear market in the fourth quarter of 2022. However, DeFi open borrows rose $19 billion across 20 lending applications and 12 blockchains by the end of 2024, representing almost 1,000% increase over the 8 quarters from the 2022 market bottom. So 2 years, 1,000% surge. DeFi borrowing experienced a stronger recovery than that of the CeFi lending. They also said this can be attributed to the permissionless nature of the blockchain-based applications, and I think it ultimately means people trust DeFi more than centralized. I mean, what else? How else can you put it? As the largest centralized borrowers all went under. So I think people lost faith in that. So as quoted here, unlike the largest CeFi lenders that went bankrupt and no longer operate, the largest lending applications and markets were not all forced to close and continue to function. Outstanding CeFi borrowers are worth a collective $11.2 billion, 68% lower compared to the peak of $34.8 billion combined to the book the size of the CeFi lenders achieved in 2022. The 3 largest CeFi lenders are Tether, Galaxy, and Lending, and they account for a combined 88.6% of the total CeFi lending market and 27% of the total crypto lending market. And if you don't know, broskies, now you know. Now for our feature story of the day, Changpeng Zhao, the former Binance CEO, says Bitcoin is definitely going to reach $1 million per coin. That's right. And the $1 million prediction always reminds me of the infamous John McAfee prediction from years back. If Bitcoin doesn't hit $1 million by this particular year, I will eat my own on live TV. And rest in peace, Mr. McAfee. We do miss you. But anyways, CZ doubles down on the $1 million price projection. He also, when he was recently sharing over in Pakistan, you know, they made him the crypto czar in their country, which is interesting. He said countries will race to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, which is a given. And we're witnessing that on the world stage right now as the hash wars continue. We even had Bitcoin presidents Trump and Bukele link up today at the White House. CZ also says we are just at the beginning. And I couldn't agree more. I think this is like the bottom of the first inning. If you're to ask me, we have a long ways to go. And we all know Bitcoin's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, check this out. Co-founder and former CEO of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, recently predicted Pre-Little Bitty will reach $1 million per coin in the interview conducted in Pakistan, where he was recently appointed the crypto advisor to the Pakistan Crypto Council. CZ expresses belief. He says he can't say exactly when the price will be reached because then it will prove he's from the future. But he is confident that it will happen over time. CZ emphasized that the crypto industry is still in the early stages, and many people expect big changes to happen instantly. However, he argues that the major changes of the price of the Bitty will take time and patience. That's right, as he shares here. Again, speaking at the recent Pakistan event, and again, he's now working as the crypto czar for the country. In the interview, CZ also discussed crypto regulation and its effect on the younger generation, highlighting the importance of rules that support innovation while also protecting investors. CZ believes that with the right to regulatory framework, more young people will be interested in participating in the crypto industry. And I dare say the younger generation are the smarter folk. They're not as brainwashed as the older generation. They already know what's good. A lot of them don't trust their US dollar. A lot of them don't trust the government. A lot of them don't trust inflation. A lot of them don't trust nothing, and they shouldn't trust nothing because the government don't deserve our trust. So shit out to the younger fam holding it down. CZ also emphasized that crypto has the potential to provide a new economic opportunity for exactly. With blockchain tech, many opportunities for innovation can help address some of the economic issues that the younger generations face today, such as the infamous inflation. That's why we save in Bitcoin, family. One of the key points discussed by CZ is how countries around the world will start buying Bitcoin as a reserve asset. We call this the global hash war, coined by the infamous Max Kaiser. But according to CZ, countries with the largest economies, like the United States of America, will already start recognizing Bitcoin. That's right. Trump signed the strategic Bitcoin reserve executive order and are also stockpiling the digital assets. CZ also predicts the countries will race to secure as much Bitcoin as possible before its price increasing significantly. This is the game theory we have been preaching for many years here on the channel. Countries that are late in buying the Pre-Little Bitty that's going up forever, Laura, will find themselves at a disadvantage as they will have to buy at a higher price. Oh no, and the price goes up forever. They will leave with a smaller amount of the Bitcoin compared to the early adopting countries, and ultimately both Max and Michael have both broken this down. There's only enough Bitcoin for one country to become the Bitcoin superpower of the world. Saylor and Max are proposing for the Trump admin to purchase as much as 5 million Bitcoin, which would be 25% of the circulating supply, which would make and cement the United States as a superpower. However, what if it's China? What if it's Russia? What if it's the UAE? What if it's some other country and we don't get the pull advantage? You know what I mean? First mover's advantage already goes to Bukele, a Bitcoin country. Trumpster, are you going to follow in the footsteps and follow the blueprint? Or are we going to get left behind? You guys let me know your thoughts. CZ is optimistic about the future of the Bitty and the crypto industry as a whole. He believes the wider adoption of the Bitty by the country's increased support of regulations will drive this industry growth. CZ added that while the smaller players may be left behind, the crypto industry as a whole will benefit from the wider adoption. You're damn straight. And if you don't know, now you know. Let me know if you agree, disagree with CZ, former CEO of the Binance. Nippinator indicator, full effect, licking the gonads. Broskies, he's licking the gonads. I repeat, Nippinator indicator, licking the gonads. Game on. How do we know it's not been done yet? What are we referring to there, Chris? What's Bitcoin favorite song? Where's the money? Crypto represents the most volatile wild asset ever. Allocate your hard work dollars wisely, broskies. Do you think the crypto prices are being manipulated to keep the people from joining? Absolutely, and they always have been and always will be to a certain degree. However, Bitcoin's still on its own trajectory. Nippinator indicator in full effect. That was the ultimate buy signal. If you don't recognize a buy signal, you don't recognize, what are you, blind? Nippinator never disappoints. This gong strikes for the DNA Noonan. Step up your game, broski. No more rookie numbers around here. Who cares what country adopts Bitcoin? I don't. Bitcoin was created to circumvent their fiat. Government in the market controls it in the first place. Welcome to the Bitty Party.